Frankfurt Zoological Society, or FZS, is a global conservation organisation committed to preserving wildlands and biological diversity in the last remaining wilderness areas on the planet.
We focus particularly on biologically diverse areas, but also on landscapes that are vast and pristine. And one of these is the Serengeti, of course, which is like a flagship of our work. There it all began during the era of Bernhard Grzimek. It was in a way the birthplace of Frankfurt Zoological Society in international conservation.
I'm not aware of any other organization that has been so recognized in terms of the valuable support it's been giving to the wildlife sector like Frankfurt Zoological Society.
FZS, they support us in a lot of activities because they provide us with the working equipment. You can see, for example, like that car there, that's a donation from FZS.
Vincent Ronald works with the Tanzania National Parks Authority, known as TANAPA. TANAPA is a parastatal agency responsible for the management and protection of all the country's national parks. As a head warden in Serengeti, Vincent manages a team to carry out critical anti-poaching patrols. But in addition to deterring poachers, TANAPA also constantly monitors the whereabouts of the park's rhinos.
So what's happening here, you see this guy, they're tracking the rhino. They're tracking the black rhino. So they are using the antenna and the receiver to pick the signal. So this one is the rhino footprint. This indicates the rhino has crossed here. And you can see the footprint is going this direction.
Unfortunately, poaching is at an all-time high worldwide, with demand driving prices of rhino horn to well over $60,000 per kilo. Protection provided by TANAPA's rangers is crucial to their survival. To assist in TANAPA's efforts, FZS provides financial and technical support. This collaboration is a fundamental part of the park's operations.
This vehicle I'm working on here at the moment is a Land Cruiser. It's used for the rhino protection. So it came in here for maintenance and repair, and there's some other cars here also using for different areas in the park for anti-poaching patrolling.
FZS provides support for the nuts and bolts of park operations, figuratively and literally. Here in this busy garage, FZS does some of its most important work for rhino protection. Eric, the workshop manager, is responsible for ensuring that vehicles TANAPA rangers depend on are in full working order 365 days a year.
Because the area of the park is very, very big, it's difficult for people to move around. So the vehicles are essential for this work. Otherwise, we will not be able to protect the park without having a fleet of vehicles working out there.
But when it comes to protecting wildlife, and rhino in particular, FZS doesn't just operate on the ground. The FZS plane ensures that important conservation activities can also be carried out from the air, from tracking radio-collared animals for research to counting wildlife populations for monitoring. FZS provides essential aerial support to assist TANAPA with their operations.
By aircraft, it's much easier to find the rhinos. We can fly quite high over the landscape. With these antennas I'm putting on, we get quite a big range, so we can find a rhino from 20-30 kilometers away. And this really helps the law enforcement people on the ground to find the rhinos on a daily basis.
Providing the equipment and resources to carry out important conservation activities is essential, but in recent years FZS has realised it must have a holistic approach to conservation. This means putting the focus both on protecting wild areas as well as working with the communities that surround them.
50 years ago, the focus of Frankfurt Zoological Society was very much on the establishment of the national park, monitoring the wildlife and the ecosystem. Today, with increasing human population pressures around the national park, it's absolutely imperative that we focus a lot of our effort actually outside the national park.
FZS has helped set up wildlife management areas, or WMAs, on the periphery of the park, which are managed by the local communities. By enabling communities to benefit directly from wildlife and tourism, they can appreciate the value of wildlife protection.
FZS saw the importance of involving communities into conservation of wildlife because the communities are the ones who are living in these areas. So they really have to see the importance of protecting the wildlife.
Whereas Tanapa Rangers patrol the areas inside the park, selected members of these communities act as village game scouts to patrol the WMAs. These communities are now seeing the tangible benefits of protecting wildlife firsthand. In the decades since Professor Grzimek began his work here, FZS has become an integral part of the Serengeti National Park. By working both inside the park with Tanapa and outside the park with communities, they have contributed to the conservation of the entire ecosystem, ensuring a future for the park and its wildlife.
We believe as this interaction between our partners and us help us to identify where the greatest need is and put resources in those areas, the security of this important area will continue to be safeguarded, and therefore the Serengeti will never die. With this kind of support, I believe it will become reality.